So our Light Lab file has loaded correctly into etc Nomad and augmented. And now we want to spend a minute setting up our workspaces. If you notice, the way mine has opened, I have a large square on the left and I have a large square on the right. And then of course I have my menu tab, which lets me click on this and it opens up my menu for creating files and saving shows, exporting, importing, system setup, that kind of stuff. But most of the time, we just want to keep him closed or minimized. Inside etc Nomad, we can configure up to 3 monitors. And here's what I mean. If we slide all the way up here to the top left corner, you'll see that I have the numbers 1. And if I click here, the number 2, and here, the number 3. So this program emulates the fact that you might have 3 computer monitors in front of you. Each one of these monitors can be configured to show us different lighting information for controlling our light board and the fixtures and working on our lighting design. If there's nothing in these tabs right now, that's okay. I'm going to show you how to set them up. If there's things that are already in them, that's fine too. The file will often load differently on your computer as it opens up. But I'm going to show you, let's go to monitor number 1. And then in order to configure monitor number 1, let's click on the configuration tool here for monitor number 1. And then it gives us multiple templates of how we can make that monitor look. So if we wanted just one large block in our field, we could click on that. That's what monitor 1 looks like now. And you can see it's just one big field of visual. My preference is for this one here, which has 2 small blocks on the top and then a large field workspace on the bottom. So I'm going to suggest you start with that. If you want to use something differently, you can as you learn more about the program. But just to get us started, I'm going to show you how to configure it this way, and then you can explore beyond that. It's important to know that there's nothing you can do in this software that permanently damages things. Everything can be undone. Everything can be fixed. You can always go back and change things. So don't worry about clicking around and playing around. You're only playing around virtually, and you're training on a virtual console here. So let's click this template. Now what it's done is it's taken us back to monitor number 1. Monitor 2 and monitor 3 are unchanged. But monitor 1 now has been changed to 2 blocks up top and 1 large block workspace across the bottom. That is what I think is the best setup initially for understanding how to use etc Nomad and augmented. If you notice in the top left-hand workspace, it's already dropped in the visualizer augmented into that block, which is good. The other 2 blocks have a plus symbol in them because they're asking me, what do I want to add there? So I think adding augmented 3D over here in the upper left block is a great choice. Let's go to the upper right block and let's hit plus. And what is it that we want to add here? Well, there's a lot of different things that we can add. But in order to use the Light Lab the way it's been created, we're going to click on Magic Sheet tab 3. And when we do that, it's going to give us a choice of what that magic sheet looks like. The creator who's created this file has given us a really simple way that we can access the use of this lighting lab through what's called a magic sheet. So let's click on this magic sheet, and it's going to give you something here, which is really like a lighting cheat sheet for you to be able to manipulate the lights in this lighting rig, in this lighting setup, in a really simple and easy way. So let's make sure over here in the left-hand workspace we have Augmented 3D, and in the right-hand workspace we have the Magic Sheet, and it's going to show up as Live MS1. If it does so, and this is the graphic that you're seeing, you're doing great. Now down here on the bottom in this worksheet, we're going to click plus, and what we want to add here is our virtual keyboard. This is going to give us access to all the keys that would be on the physical light console in the Burke booth, but it's going to give us the virtual version of it since we're working remotely and training remotely. So when we click on that, it's going to add our basic lighting console keyboard here, which gives us access to every command that we would actually use on the ETC Ion in the Burke board. Pretty cool, huh? We're actually training here on your computer to run the actual lighting console that's in our booth. So in here are all the commands from recording cues to addressing lighting fixtures. You'll eventually learn what that means, to be able to turn up the intensities, to select certain channels, to do all kinds of functions that we can program into our lighting control board, including running cues. This green arrow here is basically the go button that once everything is programmed, we would use inside the show to go from one cue that we've recorded to the next. I'm going to show you one more manipulation. If you want to change the size of these things, you can click on the control button here again and slide down to these options, which are resize the frames, monitor mapping, closing the tabs, and basically resetting your monitors. Let's choose resize frames. When we do, it gives us some control handles so we can actually make our keyboard a little smaller. I like my keyboard to be a little smaller, which gives me a little more visual space here in augmented and with the Magic Sheet. You can also slide this guy over a little bit, but I like him in the middle. So I'm going to leave him in the middle right now. And when I'm done, I'm just going to click anywhere to get rid of those. And it's basically resized your workspace. If I click inside the Magic Sheet and I scroll forward, it also allows me to zoom in. And if I shift click, it lets me slide this view around so that I can get it set up in a way that visually works best for me. And I can get it just to the size that I want it to be. Once that's done, you've got your workspaces set up and you're ready to get to work in your light lab. See you in the next video.